Was the time to strike out of turn 11. There was certainly no problem with his slingshot out of 11 and up the inside into 12, and already at this stage Alex Marquez will know that the game is up.
Yeah, already it's taken Marquez 2 sectors to establish a lead that's over 3/4 of a second. There's nothing that Alex Marquez can do about this late charge, this late onslaught from Marc Marquez.
Turn number 12, so unless a mistake comes from Alex Marquez, the family double 1-2 looks like it's on course.
Yeah, top job, first and second in the sprint, first and second in the Grand Prix. And there's going to be a heck of a party in the Marquez household when they head back to Europe. He has just one corner left to negotiate. He's going to win the opening Grand Prix of the season for the first time in 11 years. Qatar 2014, the last time we saw this. It has been a Ducati domination debut weekend for Marc Marquez. He takes... Getting a replay here of Marquez attacking down the long back straight. That was where he made that key move on the run down of turn 5. This was on lap 21, and you always got a sense at that point that that might be Alex's race run. We are staring down the barrel here though for Pecco Bagnaia. After just 2 Grand Prix of the season, he's going to be in excess of 30 points behind Marc Marquez already. And the dream Ducati team turning into a bit of a nightmare for the Italian so far. He is desperately trying to attack Morbidelli late on for the podium in 2025. All eyes are on that final plate. Although comes Marc Marquez. It is a turn masterclass here in Argentina for the number 93. He leads home yet again another. Is that already a gap too far for him to bridge? Just a lonely 4th right now for Johann Zarco. Yeah, Vinales has had his troubles stopping that KTM in those tight left-handers of 6 and 10, and he does blink. Well, we said who will blink first, and what, within 2 or 3 corners, it was Vinales. Marc back at the front.
So Marc Marquez now with empty tarmac ahead of him. Does he now try and pull the 5? This is 6 now, where he's had problems in the last 2 laps, and this was the problem which ultimately cost him the race lead.
Yeah. A couple of laps before this, we saw him run wide. He had a good look to his left there because he knew he was going to make sure he gave plenty of room for Marc. Out of the final corner we go. Well, he cracked in Kota, but he conquers Qatar. Marc Marquez is victorious here in Doha for the first time since 2014. We're racing in MotoGP here in Motoland. This time around, Marc Marquez does indeed nail the start. He's going to get the whole shot into this tight first corner. Alex Marquez slots in the second place. Good start by Bagnaia from the second
lap quicker at this stage than Digia is going, who might well yet find himself out of the top 10 if he's not careful in the 6 previous MotoGP.
A magnificent 7th success here, and his beloved Aragon at one of his favourite circuits. Through the final corner he goes. Marc Marquez is a winning machine once again here in Motorland. He has dominated the 2025 Grand Prix of Aragon. He takes the checker flag. And we're racing here in MotoGP in Madrid. This time around, Marc Marquez does make the perfect start from pole position. Side by side, shoulder to shoulder, though goes Bagnaia in the braking zone. Who's going to tough it out? Marquez is going to run it hot, surely. Bagnaia is going to cut to a tight line. How did Marquez break for that first corner and keep Bagnaia at bay? Through the smoke haze we go. Bagnaia attacks into turn 2. Just listen to the roar of the Mugello masses here in Italy. Bagnaia leads briefly.
You just knew Bagnaia was going to attack. Marc Marquez looking to come straight back yesterday, and he was gobbled up by the Marquez brothers on the run down to San Donato. Bagnaia will be hoping he's...
Grandstands, they're going to be on their feet. Yellow flags right in sector 4. Somebody's gone down at the final corner, maybe. Is it Enea Bastianini, I think? Bastianini's name went tumbling down to the bottom of the pile. Yes, he has indeed crashed that turn 15, the very same corner last year. Marc has hit the front in the slipstream. That's where Bastianini at turn 15 last year on the last lap took second place dramatically from Jorge Martin.
Marc Marquez with that slipstream was able to go down the outside but still get it stopped and pull in front of Pecco Bagnaia. So Marc Marquez does...
Is he going to get it stopped into San Donato? There was a big head shake there. He's going to run in a little bit wide, and Marc seizes the lead back. What a fight this is. is. Oh, they touch as they start that climb up towards turn 2. Clear contact between Bagnaia and Marc. Oh, you've got a race on here, Mugello, folks.
Do you think Bagnaia wants this? The roar of the crowd is urging him on. Marc Marquez back up the inside now of Pecco Bagnaia. It's punch and counter punch between the Ducati teammates.
Oh, Bagnaia clips the rear tyre of Marc as they got on the power coming out of turn 5. He's in the slipstream of Alex, a 2-bike slipstream here, so he's recovered second place. And once again on the brakes into San Donato, he gets at Ducati, snaking left and right. Is he going to use the element of surprise here? He is on the inside of Marc into turn 2. This is absolutely brilliant, Bagnaia. This is vintage Bagnaia.
You cannot question the fighting spirit of Pecco.
More yellow flags are out in sector 4, as now it's Marc in the slipstream who's going to try and go the long way around. Is he going to get it stopped? It's Zarco who's had a real miserable weekend here in Mugello. He's not going to get it stopped. He runs in hot with the slipstream behind Bagnaia. He's going to try and go around the outside now at turn 2. Here he goes. He is going to go around the outside at 3. Surely that's not going to work out. Bagnaia closes the door. This has been the best 5 laps so far of 2025, hasn't it? Bagnaia versus Marc. It's fine. That looked like it in the background.
Is there any danger of this race starting to settle down? As a big Bonito, I hope it doesn't. But Bagnaia there lost the front on the way through Pacini, and that does bring Marquez alongside.
And that's his issue. That's been his headache all season long. Fast corners, no confidence in the front. He's trying to get some slipstream. Now, once again, it's not the sprint yesterday. 3 abreast go Bagnaia, Alex and Marc. This is all happening at over 360 kilometres an hour. Alex briefly does lead into San Donato, but he runs in a little bit too hot. Bagnaia back in the front. This is now Marc back in 3rd place for the first time in this Grand Prix. Oh, Alex, that's aggressive on the inside of Bagnaia. There was room there, and he took it.
You can see once again the snap on
taking the fight to both Marc and Bagnaia. It just shows what an outstanding 2025 Alex is having right now. We're on board now with Marc. He's going to go side by side with Bagnaia. They're going to top it out, and this heavy old braking zone for turn 1. Once again, the 2 factory Ducatis snapping sideways as they both squeeze. That's going to go side by side, and so does Marc in the braking zone with Alex. There's nothing that Alex can do about this because Marc's hugging the inside line, and so Alex is just going to have to yield at this particular part of the race. So we're on lap 9 of 23. Marc then back at the front, but Marc Marquez took his first ever Grand Prix victory here in Mugello back in 2010, and number 93 makes it win number 93 in front of the Italian fans here. Marc Marquez's stranglehold, his iron grip on this year's MotoGP World Championship continues. There you go, confirmation, 93 wins across all classes.
You don't have to try and break any later, not change anything. Gets 0.7 over the line, unless there's a mistake from Marc. He's got this one.
But into the chicane for the final time. Marc Marquez holds off the Aprilia Marco Bezzecchi, and for Ducati takes victory in the 100th anniversary Dutch TT, and with it his 68th MotoGP win, equaling Giacomo Agostini. Pecco Bagnaia rounds out the podium in 3rd place. It's another double for Marc Marquez. That's his 6th double of the season, and
And we're racing in MotoGP here in Germany. It's a great start by Pedro Acosta from 4th place on the factory KTM. He's immediately into 3rd, attacked quickly by Alex Marquez. But Marc Marquez has made the perfect start. The dream launch for Marc. He leads here in the Sachsenring. Di Giannantonio slots himself up into P3.
Well, Zarco once again going backwards. Di Giannantonio went right around the outside of the first corner into 3rd place. Alex Marquez also got that. There has been so much drama through the field. 2nd place has been a bit of a poison chalice through this Grand Prix. Di Giannantonio has lost it, Bezzecchi has lost it, and they've all been losing it trying to keep pace with the incredible King of the Saxon.
Feeling once again as he cruises to what is going to be his 12th career success here in Germany. Davide Tardozzi, I can't quite believe what we have seen. This has been pure and utter dominance here.
Tomorrow, though, has got a couple of corners to hang on. Marc Marquez has one more corner to go.
Into the final corner, the 93 goes. Marc Marquez reclaims his crown. He reigns in red. He's back on the throne as the king of the Saxon Ring once again. It's a 9th MotoGP win on a track that almost broke him in 2023, but nobody can break his red-hot winning streak in 2025. We're on the last lap. Marc Marquez, well, he's on a mission right now, isn't he? And it's mission winning for fun in the MotoGP World Championship. Costa's got it all on here. Can he hold Bagnaia at bay? It would be a brilliant on to what is a very hard-earned third place. But through turn 13 we go. 5 long years since his career was almost ended with a right arm fracture in Jerez in 2020. Fast forward 5 years, and it's 5 wins in a row now in 2025 for Marc Marquez. The MotoGP here in Austria, it's a sensational start from third place. He's nailed it this time around for Pecco Bagnaia. He's immediately ahead of Alex Marquez, trying to find a way through on Marco Bezzecchi, who slams the door shut to 55 kilometres an hour. Oh, he darts to the inside line there. I think Bezzecchi just charging that little bit hot. He's compromised his exit speed on the factory of Aprilia. They go side by side, but for the first time then here in this Grand Prix of Austria, Marc Marquez decides it's his moment. He hits the front. Marco Bezzecchi tries to respond, going through 4 and 5. Bezzecchi gets that rear squirming underneath him on the RSGP. He is going toe-to-toe with Marc. Just listen to the noise of the crowd. This is brilliant by Bez. What a move that was, going through turn 6.
Well, that tells you that Marco Bezzecchi fancies this. Marc Marquez knows that it might not be quite as easy as it was in Brno. Bezzecchi on the Aprilia wants to keep...
He's going to pick up some slipstream here, down the 810-metre start-finish straight. He goes side by side with the factory Aprilia. He levels Bezzecchi in the braking zone. Bezzecchi really does try to tough it out on the outside, but Marquez got through. They run down onto the chicane, and he's about to be, for the very first time, the king of the Red Bull Ring. He's had so many close calls, so many late battles against the factory Ducati, against Andrea Dovizioso and Jorge Lorenzo, but he hits them 4-6. It is 6 successive victories then now in 2025 for Marc Marquez. It is on Frankie Morbidelli with clear air to work with ahead of him, a bit of open real estate ahead to build some pressure on Bez.
Alex Marquez, didn't he, in Austria? It took him until around about 2/3 distance before he finally shook off the challenge of Marco Bezzecchi. How long can Bez put up a resistance this time?
He has led laps in the last 3 Grand Prix weekends as Marco Bezzecchi, but he's looking really, really vulnerable right now on that factory Aprilia. So vulnerable that Marquez hits the front then for the first time. That wasn't going to work out. Marc just charging in that little bit too hot on the brakes into turn 1. Bezzecchi would have heard that move coming and thought, well, if you're braking that late, mate, when I'm braking as late as I am, you're only going to go one way, and that's to the curve on the outside. So it's Bez briefly then back at the front, but he knows it's coming. Marc's just said, you've had your fun, now it's time for me to take control of this Grand Prix. Now we go into turn 5. Marquez levels Bez once again in that heavy braking zone. Bezzecchi comes straight back on through. And listen to the crowd, they're on their feet. This is what Hungary fans have missed for so many years. That's twice then now.
Circuit, which is just all about joining the dots, hitting your braking markers, just tick off every apex. If you stay on the racing line and you're able to put clean laps together, it's so difficult to pass. But Marc Marquez got another very good run out of turn 17. Can he get up alongside and brake late enough this time to get through on Marco Bezzecchi? Bezzecchi tries to cut back underneath him, but Marc Marquez now has the inside line for turn 2.
Yeah, he's blocked the line going initially through 1 and then through 2. So we are now lap 11 of 26, and it's Bezzecchi. Looks like we're going to get 2
another step closer.
Doubles in Aragon, Mugello, Assen, Saxon Ring, Brno and the Red Bull Ring. Make that another double. Mine's a double, says Marc Marquez here in Hungary, as he's about to complete yet another pole sprint Grand Prix victory route here. He's coming now into the final sector, nearly 4 seconds clear of Pedro Acosta. It has looked so smooth. It has looked so easy as he comes through the final corner now. It has been a breeze in Balaton for World Championship leader Marc Marquez, as he does win for a 7th successive Grand Prix. Extends his winning run, his best in 11 years since 2014. 3 years. Lights out, and we're racing here in MotoGP in Misano. Once again, it's a great start from pole position by the Aprilia of Marco Bezzecchi. Marc rides around the outside of Alex going into the first corner, but Bez has made the perfect start. Quattararo trying to get through on Alex into third place. The Frenchman there in fourth, but around the outside, oh, how strong was Marc going through? Marc's forte is the sort of last third of the Grand Prix. So strong, isn't it? Oh, Bez has made a mistake. Bez has buckled then under this weight of pressure from Marc. So Marc Marquez did not even have to make a move on Bez to take the lead here. Through the fast right-handers we go.
Bezzecchi set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Marc Marquez responds with one of his own.
That's how you respond. That is the sign of great champions and great riders. When you're under immense pressure, you always just have that extra gear. You find something else. He needs it though. He needs a 131.2 just to keep Bezzecchi at bay. That will start with Marc 4/10 clear of Bez, who once again, well, this is the kitchen sink and everything else he's got, isn't it, that he's launching at Marc right now. A 131.311 on that penultimate lap was Bez's fastest of the Grand Prix. There's nothing else he can do. He has given everything. He has given his all here. Is he just going to come up that little bit too short? You have to say it's been a masterclass in resisting pressure from Marc if he is going to win this San Marino Grand Prix. It's not over just yet, though.
Shades of acid in many respects, where Marc Marquez did practically the entire Grand Prix with Marco Bezzecchi right behind him. Marc Marquez into Croatia corner, where he inherited the lead from Marco Bezzecchi. Bezzecchi inherited a sprint win yesterday when Marc Marquez crashed ahead of him. It's going to take something like that for the Aprilia star to pull this one off.
Well, this is how you silence some of his very public critics here in Misano. Marc Marquez, he says, I always do my talking on the track. That's where it really matters. It looks like he is going to close out this victory here in the Red Bull Grand Prix of San Marino. 2 weeks away, surely, from closing out his 7th MotoGP World Championship. What a fight, and what a warrior Marco Bezzecchi has been for Aprilia in this Grand Prix. He is going to come up just that little bit short as Marc Marquez comes through the final corner. It has been another Misano masterclass from Marc. He takes the checker flag.